Hello, everyone. This is Daryl Andrews, Coach D, and just coming to you with a quick hit today. I know it's Friday. My battery is low on my computer. I just realized I don't have it plugged in, and so I better get this in quick. But what I want to talk about real quick is there years ago I saw a football player. His name was Terrell Owens, and they were interviewing him and asking him the question about himself because if you remember Terrell Owens, he was spending a lot of time talking about Terrell Owens and but he was a great football player, if you remember, recall that as well. But they asked him, "Why do you talk so much about yourself, and why do you put so much emphasis in what you do?" And he looked in the camera and he said something that made me laugh. He said, "I love me some me." Now that's funny, but if you know his story, he came from a tough situation. He came from a tough background. It was a challenging, and so he had to build self-esteem for himself in order to accomplish what he accomplished. Now, he went a little bit overboard, but the reality is we know his name today because he took care of Terrell. In other words, he worked out, he exercised, he physically got himself into a point where he was one of the best receivers in the league. And he knew that in order for him to excel, he had to have some self appreciation. And so, what I want to talk about real quick is, I would never promote arrogance because I think, you know me, I'm not about arrogance. I'm not arrogant at all. I have an arrogant bone in my body. I'm in the business of, people. And so I spent my whole life doing this. But at some point, you do got to love yourself a little bit. And I'm saying this because I have a lot of conversations with professionals throughout the country, and so many people are stressed, burnt out, tired. Um, the COVID-19 pandemic has taken a lot out of people. It's been a tremendous challenge. And so, what I want you to do is, and I'm going to say this real quick, is I want you to care about yourself a little bit. Let's do some self care. We've been talking about this over and over again. Organizations are bringing us in to do a lot of conversations around this. We actually have coaching programs around this that we can establish for your organization. So we've been having these conversations because the average person cares so much about other people that they very rarely put much emphasis into caring about themselves. And even when you work for someone, it's always about the people that you're serving, be it a customer, a student, or whoever it may be. And so where do we ever talk about how are you doing? Are you okay? And so I'm really kind of pushing this out there a lot because we're doing some stuff with it professionally, but I think it just makes sense. I was at the gym with a young man. He was probably in his mid 30s, and I was in there. I pump a lot of steel, man. Bench pressing, I'm curling. He said, "Man, you got a lot of energy." And he said, "I need more energy." And I said, "How old are you?" He said, "In his 30s." I said, "How?" He said, "How old are you?" I said, "I'm in my late 50s." He said, "You're lying." And I said, "No, I'm not lying." I said, "Man, because every day I'm working out, every day I'm pushing myself." And so, reason why I got four beautiful kids, I have a wife, and I have people who depend on me to do these consultings and training and coaching programs. So I owe you. But more importantly, I owe my family because my wife and kids depend on me. And so I take care of myself. And so every now and then, yeah, what little slightly maybe sound somewhat arrogant, I do love myself. I do take care of Daryl, you know, and I want you to do take care of you. Now, I'm going to give you a couple of points because that's what we always do. One, in order to be a little bit more appreciative of yourself, don't buy into the negative narrative. Don't you hear people say things like, "Boy, we're getting old," or "Oh man, the bones are aching," or "Man, boy, there's certain things are going to happen to you at a certain time in life." Tell those folks to be quiet and go somewhere else. Go tell that to somebody else. Don't buy into the negative words. People will say things like, "Oh yeah, money comes, money goes," and all of that. And that narrative starts to spin around in your head. So if you're going to take care of yourself or take care of you, self-care, you got to put words in your head that mean something to your own self-motivation and energy. Don't buy into the negative narratives. All right. So stay away from those negative words that others have to offer. We've talked about this ad nauseum during my sessions. But if you're going to take care of yourself, love yourself a little bit, you can't be hanging around people that's going to put you down or drag you down all the time. Um, in the contrast to that, say what you are. That's one thing I love about being a Christian because the Bible gives you all these things to say. It says, "I'm the head, I'm not the tail, above only, not beneath, blessed going out and going in." People say stuff like that. Boy, those American people, no, the Bible is telling you the words have power. Matter of fact, what it says is that you're binded by the words of your mouth. That's in the scriptures. Man, I'll tell you something. A lot of motivation comes from scriptures. And so the reality is this: you got to be careful what you say. And if you're saying things about yourself, say words that are going to empower you. Like I said, that's what I love about being a believer, a Christian, because it's like words like "I'm a more than a conqueror." People are like, "Ooh, that person is arrogant." No, that person is trying to speak a new reality into their life. You see what I'm saying? And and so say what you are. If you believe, if you're financially challenged, say I'm blessed financially. If you got a lot of people around you and things seem to be messed up in your life, say I live a blessed life. Don't allow your words to define your actual outcomes, because there's a thing called self-fulfilling prophecy. And self-fulfilling prophecy is really a byproduct of what you say and what you do. So make sure you're saying words. And then, the last thing is just get moving. Don't be sedentary. Sitting around doing nothing is not going to produce anything. There's a song years ago that was saying, I can't remember the name of this group, but it says, "Nothing from nothing leaves nothing." That's an interesting title to a song. And so get moving, get up, walk, run, exercise, take walks, do things like that. Get your body. And there's the old saying, what's his name? Law of inertia. A body in motion tends to stay in motion until acted upon by an outside force. So, don't buy into negative words. Say what you are, speak life into yourself, and get moving. All right. These are components of self appreciation, self care, self love. And lastly, do it because it's the right thing to do for you. Most of us pour out a lot of our time, and we're pouring out. Pour into yourself. Get that stress off you. It's not even healthy anyway. You know, Relax and learn to decompress. Take yoga, do something, but just take care of you. I know people that built big businesses and dropped dead of a heart attack because they worked so hard, they never took time off, and then boom. Okay, what did you do all that for? You never had a chance to enjoy it. Learn to enjoy life. It's not all about the grind all the time. Sometimes it's about the decompress. So anyway, we're doing a lot around self-care. I'm popping this in here because there's organizations that's now starting to do a lot of work with us around helping building self-care for leaders and self-care systems for their staff, accountability systems on a monthly basis. Because I tell you something, if you don't make this a priority, you'll never do it. I got this routine. I got a little notebook. I don't have it here with me. I carry around. It's my personal one. Then I have a larger one. Every day I'm looking at what I'm supposed to be doing, and I stay committed to that because I realize I got to take care of myself in order to be effective with you. So I put this link in here if anyone is interested in scheduling a time where they may want to brainstorm around personal self-care or around organizational self-care, which is connected to trauma. And trauma, you usually hear a lot of the terms trauma out here nowadays, trauma informed care, all the stuff that's going on. But there's a thing called workplace trauma too, and life trauma. So sometimes we need some help with this. And I'm not a psychologist. I can do stuff around self-care and all of that. If it's mental, you got to go see a person that's a psychologist. But if it's just I need to get moving and get going and put systems in place, we can help with that. Now I do know people who are professionals, clinical professionals, but I don't profess to be that. And our company does not profess to be that as well. So that's all I have for you today. Take care of yourself. Put systems in place. If you're working with an organization, your organization needs a system of self-care to help the staff and the leaders become solid in their self appreciation, self motivation that leads to better outcomes in life and in work. That's all I got for you today. Have a great weekend. Any questions, just reach out to us. We can schedule maybe a 15-minute meeting with you to talk about what this whole self-care thing is about and if we could be of assistance to you personally or your organization. Take care.